Betting ring to keep an eye on the action. What was the result like for the bookies in race 2, Tim?
Well, there was a bit of money for Oakcrest in that, Peter, and also some late specking for Babetto along with Chenwood, which was very unlucky, I thought. But in the next, the punters believe that Stephen King can make it a treble from 3 races. Mighty Impulse will open up a pronounced favourite in the black. At the moment, $1.70 on the tote. And the spies down here say that the horse may be wearing bandages, so there might be some concern about number 3, Mighty Impulse.
All right, Tim Gossage in the betting ring.
Yeah, while we've got a moment, someone we're dearly missing here over the carnival is Nancy Martin, Brian Martin's mum.
Yes, indeed.
She hasn't enjoyed the best of health lately, and let's hope that her recovery is coming along very well. Big hello to Nancy.
Yes, Brian, the chief race caller of Sport 927, and Nance is so much a part of the carnival that we've seen over the years, so our thoughts are with you, Nance. We do send you our love. Third race coming up at 12:45. Sandra, we'll be back with you shortly before starting time.
We'll look forward to it, Pete. This is, as we all know, the last day of this fabulous Cup Carnival, but the action is far from over. As we have all week, we've been profiling the fashion leaders of tomorrow, our young designers. We'll meet another 2 of those today, and of course Len Talbot will be talking with them on the members' lawn. You will get to see their wonderful designs throughout the day. Don't forget, of course, our fabulous Star City competition, where you'll win a wonderful weekend for 2 at Star City in Sydney. We'll have the details and, of course, announce the winners on Monday night in Sports Tonight. It's time now, though, to take a break, and we'll leave you with some picturesque scenes of country Victoria and, of course, the Grampians and the Great Ocean Road. Be back with more right after the break.
We'll stand in the sun. We'll raise our head. We'll touch the sky. Together we will dance in rows alone. And we will lead the world, remembering where we were
towards being an international race in 1986 when the import at Tallaght was victorious. His owner, Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum, watched Network 10's coverage at home in Dubai. History was made in the 87 Cup when Marie Linden from New Zealand became the first female to ride in the Cup, riding Argonaut style. The winner, Kensai, who never left the rails, was ridden by comeback jockey Larry Olsen.
Kensai's going to win the Cup. What a ride, Larry Olsen.
Third time lucky was to prevail for Empire Rose in 1988. Rosie, who was so big she hardly fitted into the starting stalls, proved her heart was as big as herself when she held off a flying Natski.
Empire Rose a half in front. Natski won't make it, and the big mare wins.
In 1989, a trainer quinelled the Cup, and it wasn't Bart Cummings. It was the emergence of a youngster called Lee Friedman. With Superimpose taking the lead in the straight, it was left to stablemate Torrific to power home to victory, allowing a new dynasty to be born.
Torrific, and Torrific's going to win the Cup for Lee Friedman. Torrific kicked away and wins a quinell off the Lee. Torrific.
Some wonderful memories there, and of course fresh images today from Flemington. This is Stakes Day on Network 10, and we're bringing you all the racing, all the fun and action, and of course the fun for the kids. Now right now joining me is a gentleman I guess is regarded as one of the more reliable tipsters in Melbourne, Mick Bartholomew, but he's just penned a book on the Melbourne Cup called The World's Greatest Handicap. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Sandra.
Now I understand you discovered that there weren't enough decent children's books around for your 8-year-old son, and you decided that children needed to know a little bit more about racing.
I took him out at the races a couple of years ago to Caulfield, and he backed Shalachi with his first bet, and got an interest. And yeah, I used to tell the kids a few stories about horse racing and about horses, and there were no children's books, so with a bit of help from my friends, I set about trying to write one.
Now, it's a beautiful book. The illustrations are just gorgeous. Your wife was quite involved with you on this project, wasn't she?
I wrote the story, and Lindy illustrated it, and they were 2 very independent things. I was actually away from home while she illustrated it, and I think she's added a terrific element to the story. It's really quite whimsical and poetic, I think.
Was it a surprise for you to find that there were actually no children's books on Australia's prized sporting event?
Yes, it was. I couldn't believe it. I think it's such a great cultural event and so much fun.
Now, it's just been released. How's it going so far?
I think it's going pretty well. We've had really great coverage with reviews. Had a funny one this morning in the Age. They referred to me as Mick One Bed Bartholomew, so I don't know where they got that, but yeah, had acceptance from adults and kids, and I'm really pleased. I'm quite proud of it.
Well, we do wish you well, and of course it's been released at a perfect time during the Cup Carnival week, and of course just in time for Christmas. But I can't have Mick One Bet Bartholomew with me without some sort of tip for later in the day. What are you putting your money on?
Well, I won't be putting my money on it because I put my money on it last week, but I think race 9, number 9, Romantic Ace by Murphy's Law will win because it was going to win me quite a bit last Saturday.
All right, well, Mick, I understand we haven't actually been able to see the book just yet, so let's make sure we can. There it is there, the world's greatest handicap after Dad, penned by Mick One Bet Bartholomew, and the illustrations by his lovely wife, Lindy Allen. Thanks so much for joining us today, Mick, and we wish you the best of luck with the book. And of course, it is just out in time for Christmas, so good luck with the sales.
Thanks, Sandra.
And thanks for the tip. Lynn Talbot, I understand, is on a bit of a crusade. Where are you, Lynn?
I am. As you know, I've got a horrible job during the Melbourne Cup Carnival of wandering around finding interesting people to speak to. And just outside the Champagne Bar, I've bumped into Craig Christie, who's the executive producer and composer of a very new musical coming our way. Now, tell us all about Crusade.
Well, Crusade, first of all, is a true story, which makes it rather interesting. It was based upon something that happened in the 13th century, where a young boy had a vision. God had told him to march across to Jerusalem and win back the Holy Land, and he led this crusade of 30,000 children who left their homes and followed him across Europe. Unfortunately, the story itself historically has a rather sad end, but that doesn't stop the show itself from being a really positive and uplifting experience.
Fantastic. Now, 7 lead roles, and 5 of those are by up-and-coming young kids. Is that right?
That's one of the exciting things about Crusade. It's given the opportunity to discover a whole new generation of Australian stars for the stage and for television.
About children, by children, is it for children or adults as well?
The show itself is quite universal in its appeal because the ultimate story is about people who have dreams and strive towards those dreams. It's something that you can take children along to, but I think will strike chords with both parents and even the grandparents because everyone has dreams, everyone likes to follow them.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't we all? A great story. And where are we going to see it?
It'll be premiering in concert at the Concert Hall in May next year, and hopefully after that we'll be taking it on to the full stage version 18 months after that.
Well, Craig, we wish you and the cast and crew all the very best because I believe there are some big names behind the crew as well.
Yes, we've been very lucky. We've secured the services of Gary Young, who's currently directing Les Mis, and Guy Simpson, who's a musical director of Phantom of the Opera, so we couldn't get a better pedigree of people behind us than that.
Congratulations for rounding up all of that cast and crew. Terrific. Sandra, we look forward to Crusade at the Vic Arts Centre next March.
We do, Lynn, and it is very timely that you mention the word terrific. 8 years ago, when Terrific won the Melbourne Cup, the Freedman brothers announced their arrival as a training force. Well, since then, the FBI, as they like to be known, have become the dominant stable in Australia.
I guess for a lot of people, being a top trainer means turning up at the races, saddling up a winner, and taking home the money. There's a lot more goes into it than that. Let me take you through a day in the life in our stable. People will tell you that eventually you get used to the early starts. Don't listen to them. Long before the sun comes up, our new Caulfield stable is a hive of activity. As dawn breaks, Lee and I make the long trek out to the middle. The wind just goes straight through you. Michael's already out there keeping an eye on things. And as usual, Anthony's not saying much.
Tommy will notice any change in our action.
Thankfully, today's not as frantic as it can be. Old Doremus and his mates are enjoying a fairly easy time. If only we could say the same for the trainers. Then it's back to the stables, just to check out that the wheels are still in motion. And of course, the office duties are a necessary evil.
Good morning, Freeman Racing, Jan speaking.
Can you pick me up for the races? After a quick spit and polish, it's back to the track, about an hour before the first. Everything all right?
Yep.
Everything travel all right? And it's full on from the word go. We've got 2 runners in the first.
I'll stretch it down for it. All right? It wouldn't surprise me if he keeps getting home, you know?
Yep.
Getting home good.
Instructions for the jockeys, a chat with some nervous owners, and then into the bowels of the stand to watch the race on TV.
He's got to lead that horse.
Unfortunately, not the start we'd hoped for.
Doesn't help himself, does he?
But he wasn't really pulling. He was just flicking his head, you know.
I'm going to work. I'll leave in your office. I'm going to mine. Okay. See you, mate.
2 wins from the next 2 races, and perhaps the best is yet to come. Our old favourite Mahogany's eyeing off another first-up win in the Churnside. I can tell you that Lee's really toey. He sneaks to a quiet corner to watch the race alone. I stay with Hoggy's devoted strapper, Raylene Jury.
Mahogany coming to the outside. Spartacus being pressed now at the 205 metre screen.
Go, Hoggy! Go, Hog! Look at him go, look at him go.
Those sort of horses make the training life worth living, yeah.
It's a great training performance by the brothers. They're terribly patient with him because he can be a bit of an old bugger.
You don't have to be Einstein to work out that Big Brother is pretty chuffed.
Mahogany sprints right away. What a great horse he is.
13 hours after we started, we stick around for the Caulfield Cup barrier draw. And winning our 4th Caulfield Leading Trainers Trophy topped the day off nicely. But as satisfying as the day's been, it's history now. We start all over again tomorrow, nice and early.
The Freedman brothers there. Yes, we spent about 14 hours with them on that day, so I guess it's not all collect and celebrate, that's for sure. Well, we're on our way to the Chrysler Stakes, not far to go now. We'll take a break, and coming up, some wonderful fashions from Flemington. Where else would the kids be here this morning but at Flemington for Family Day, Stakes Day for the 1997 Cup Carnival. Oh, look at that little one there. Oh no, Peter Donegan of the future, I think. It's a little scary. Peter and Jen are in the mounting yard for the Totally Wild Stakes. Details for race 3. And Peter, I think it got a little Totally Wild on Thursday. I don't know about today.
Oh, I don't know how you could possibly say that, Sandra.
I think it was the best staying performance I've seen for a while.
Let's go on to the third race on the card, please, before we start throwing stones at each other about Thursday night. And the Totally Wild Stakes is race 3 at 12:45, and we've got a field of 9 coming up here, Jen, with no scratchings. Just before we have a look at these horses, I would like to take a look at something here that is available on course today and is going to be available from the VRC. Speaking about going totally wild, they went totally wild on Tuesday with the Melbourne Cup, and they are selling prints now, the Victoria Racing Club selling prints of Might and Power's fantastic victory in the 1997 Foster's Melbourne Cup, and that is something well worth keeping. I think I wouldn't mind a copy of that to remember the day I was at Flemington Melbourne Cup Day 97, Jen.
Yes, I was going to take that home. We might have to fight over that one, Peter.
I'll see. Look, I might even buy you one a bit later on.
It's kind of it.
Okay, now onto the third. Spy King. Jimmy Cassidy is the rider here, number 1, and its recent performances have been below par, but the first up run at Randwick went third behind El Mansour, beaten very narrowly. If you go on that run, it's a definite chance.
Oh, well, that's true, Peter, but I've been disappointed by his 2 runs here in Melbourne, and it's really hard to tip him on those efforts there, so I think he needs to lift a little bit here.
Command Post number 2 is another one that's finished closer to the back than the front at its last 2 appearances, with Darren Beedman in the saddle.
Yes, he was thrashed here at Flemington on Saturday, and I think on that particular performance he really does need to improve, so not keen on him here.
Mighty Impulse number 3, Stephen King, the rider for Tony Vassell. Stephen King having already tasted success today in the first 2 races, and Mighty Impulse heavily bandaged up front, as we can see, but he is racing in great heart.
And heavily supported, I might add too, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be. His last 2 efforts have been very, very good. Terrific wins there, and another great chance here today.
Number 4 Accused, Darren Gauci for John Hawkes, did run third behind Dantelar on Derby Day. Dantelar's since proven the form good, but the only thing was it did finish 8 lengths behind Dantelar that day.
A fair way behind there, Peter. I think the 1400 metres might suit this horse, coming back up to the 1400 here, and it's a little bit easier as well, so I've left him there with an each way chance.
Jen, the one I've gone for each way, 5 Desert Light in the Freedman stable, to be ridden by Damien Oliver. It ran second to Antiquity, almost pinched the race by leading all the way the other day, and if they are wrapping Antiquity, then you'd think Desert Light had to have a chance here, even though there was a bias favouring the on-pace runners that day.
That's true, and I am wrapping Antiquity as well, so I think on that effort must be considered one of the chances in this race.
What about Palooka, number 6, to be ridden by Craig Williams?
Well, his first up run at Moonee Valley was just mediocre, really. He just might need to have another run just to get his fitness level up, and I think he might need it a little bit easier as well.
Vedray is trained by David Hall, now here at Flemington for Shane Dye, and has had a couple of wins in the country of late.
Yes, you go back 2 starts ago. It was a pretty good win at Echuca there when he led, and then he led most of the way at Werribee last start, and he was too strong on the line. He's an improver, and he's definite chance in the race.
Metal Trader, number 8, Glenn Boss rides for Peter Hayes, has just had a couple of starts in South Australia.
Yes, he got back last start, and he worked home quite okay. That was his first up run for quite some time. Just don't know that he's quite up to them here.
And Samuel Holland in the saddle aboard 9, Admiral Smokey, chased home Vedray at Werribee.
Yes, every chance behind Vedray there. I think it's hard to see him turning the tables.
As they go to the gates, Jim, what about the selections for the third?
I'm going with the favourite here. It's hard to go away from him. Number 3, Mighty Impulse. From number 4, Accused. Number 5, Desert Light.
And at the value, I thought number 5, Desert Light, might be the one to beat. Dan, what about the total?
Spy King, which is a grey peak, $12.80. Command Post at $19. Mighty Impulse is now $2 for the win. $8.20 for Accused. $5.40 Desert Light. $30 Palooka. $8.40 Vedray. $13 for Metal Trader. And Admiral Smokey at $37 is therefore the outsider of the field. That's the look down on the tote. Now it's time to go into the betting ring and join up with Tim Gossage.
Got the wobbles early. Mighty Impulse. It drifted out, but it really is the only horse that they have backed in the ring. They're not really scared by the forelegs being bandaged at all. And Mighty Impulse, the punters believe, will give Stephen King a treble. And I know one of the very, 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 very small part owners of Desert Light. He's back in Perth. He knows who he is. Good luck.
Yes, and good luck to all of the owners here in the Totally Wild Stakes. Over at the 1400, they start on the far side of the track, almost on a continuous turn here, but only a small field of 9, so the barriers really should not play any major part in the race. The selections from the experts, from Jennifer, Richard Friedman, and also from Johnny Lett's Mighty Impulse, the short price favourite here, just looking for a bit of value. I thought something each way on Desert Light to be ridden by Damien Oliver. They're on their way to the gates. Race 3, the Totally Wild Stakes, sponsored by Network 10, and Whitman's has been giving us a magnificent view of this wonderful racecourse over the past week, and that will no doubt continue right throughout the afternoon. Flemington does look a picture as they go to the gates over by the Maribyrnong River for race 3, and as we look down, we'll take a break and be back with you very shortly. Absolutely delightful Saturday afternoon here at Flemington for the final day of the 1997 BRC Spring Carnival, wherever you may be watching around Australia or indeed right across the United States of America. A warm welcome to our telecast. Hope you've enjoyed the racing action this week from our great racecourse here in Australia, Flemington, and that you continue to enjoy it on a Friday night in the United States. And one of the best known former jockeys in Australia is along once again, Roy Higgins, with his thoughts on the third. Roy.
Thanks, Pete. I've gone with the 3 here, the favourite in Mighty Impulse. For those who may have noticed, he's got bandages on the first time here today. His trainer, I spoke to, Tony Vassell, precautionary only, no probs. I mark him on top of the 7 Vedray, 5 Desert Light, and 8 Metal Trader at a bit of value there. 3, 7, 5 and 8 for race 3 on the program. Pete.
Good on you, Roy. Stephen King rides Mighty Impulse. Let's hear what he had to say.
Chances of Mighty Impulse in the third?
Look, he's been going through his classes really well. You couldn't have asked him anything more often at this stage of his career. So he's going to be very competitive in this, and once again, just need a bit of luck.
Back to 1400?
He had a little bit of a setback. That's the reason he hasn't raced for a couple of weeks. But hopefully, dropping back to 14 shouldn't worry him.
Gary, a lot of punters tend to shy away from horses that wear bandages, but apart from that, there's nothing wrong with the appearance of the favourite.
Oh, he looks a beautiful-looking horse, and look, I liked his win at Caulfield, and I think the way the track's racing, it'll suit him today, because I just think they do need that little bit of cover. That wind's right in their face, and Stephen's riding so well, so I think he's going to be in the right place at the right time. The other one was Desert Light. That was a very good run in the Carbine Club Stakes.
And Desert Light joins them, field of 9, and they're now all locked away for race number 3, the Totally Wild Stakes. 1400 metres is the distance. Long sweeping turn to the home stretch and a straight run of about 580 metres. All set for a start. $2.10, number 3, Mighty Impulse. Drawn second from the outside, Desert Light on the outside. Away they go now. Pretty even dispatch. Admiral Smoky over on the inside jumped away fair. Spike King going forward. Likewise Vedrai and Palooka. Fourth the inside Admiral Smoky, then Desert Light who's wide. Accuse in the centre, then Mighty Impulse. Command Post just slightly checked there. Back to last on the outside of Metal Trader. Spike King working to the lead around Vedrai. Spike King in front, leads a length. Vedrai running second. 2 lengths away Palooka third. Admiral Smoky the rails fourth. Desert Light's got over into a nice spot fifth, one off the fence. And then came Accuse on the inside of the favourite Mighty Impulse. 2 lengths to Command Post and Metal Trader last. About 8 lengths from the leader Spike King. 700 to go. Spike King 3/4 of a length in front. Vedrai switched around its heels to second. Palooka third on the outside of Admiral Smoky, and Desert Light now 3 out. Mighty Impulse tracking him, and then came as they made the home turn Accuse. Command Post and Metal Trader back on the rails. Into the straight, 500 left to go now. Spike King shaken up, led narrowly from Vedrai. In the clear, Desert Light followed by Mighty Impulse coming through. Wider out Command Post putting in a dash. Spike King the leader. Command Post goes up to tackle it, and then came Mighty Impulse, and running on was Accuse. Command Post hit the lead. Accuse is after it. Then came Mighty Impulse. Desert Light. Command Post in front. Accuse trying to come back at the outside. It's coming now. Accuse after Command Post. Command Post and Accuse. Oh, Command Post, I'd say a nose Accuse. Third is either Mighty Impulse or the fast finishing Metal Trader, who's come from last. And then Spike King, Desert Light, Admiral Smoky, Palooka and Vedrai.
Well, I think Darren Beedman's got his winner, Command Post. I think it's just held on to beat the fast finishing Accuse, ridden by Darren Gauci. Wasn't much in it, but I think it's just held on.
Photo called for here. And it's pretty close, but I think number 2 will get it, Command Post. There it is, number 2, the winner. And you can see how close that is. That is down to, well, a fingertip, isn't it? Number 2, the winner from 4, which is Accuse, and getting home hard for third is Metal Trader, number 8, to pip out Mighty Impulse, who was there but just didn't quite finish it off.
I thought he was a little bit disappointing. He just got blocked for a run when he first straightened up, but he's got plenty of time here, and you can see like Accuse in the cerise colours of Jack Ingham has definitely got home better than Mighty Impulse on the inside. But Darren Beedman is hard at work here on Command Post, and there's Accuse coming at him late. Darren working very hard. Well, both the Darrens really, Darren Gaucher and Darren Beedman. And right here, bang, they just get that one head up, one down.
Ooh,
there you go. Very close.
2, 4 and 8 are the official placings. John Letts is on horseback, enjoying the lovely sunshine today, and he can chaperone the winning rider, Darren Beedman, back to scale.
Darren, you were saying you were back last and you pulled around them, so the track is lending itself to horses from anywhere today.
Oh, for sure, mate. It's I was back second last, so I probably hit the front a little bit early on him, but it was a good win. I'd like to have a cheerio call to my grandmother and my mum and dad.
It's terrific, Darren. You know, your last day of the carnival and you've ridden the winner, and it's a way to go out, isn't it?
To be able to ride a win on my last day here at Flemington, a great thrill.
And also, you've got the public behind you, and you've been very popular wherever you ride, but, you know, we all know that we're going to miss you. Yeah. But I suppose you'll miss us as well.
Oh, exactly, mate. I'd like to thank all the people out there that have prayed for me throughout the carnival, and God bless you.
They've all been with you all the way, Darren, and they will be all the way from now on in. Good luck today, mate, and a good win and a very good ride.
Thanks, mate.
Good to see Darren Beedman in the winner's circle, and Dean Lawson, congratulations.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Any excuses for this one, the last couple?
Well, first up, I was a little bit disappointed with his run, but Damien came in and told me here just to forget it. The tempo of the race didn't suit him, and the track was too hard, and he did feel it being a big, heavy horse. And then the other day was his first day time down the straight, and I think probably the wet track, he just was a bit reluctant to stretch out on, and getting back to the 1400 as well.
Didn't he let go about the 300?
He did. He let go a little bit too quick. I think he found the front a little bit too quick, and normally he gets there right on the line, but he probably got a little bit lost being on his own in front so soon.
You were watching the race from the owners and trainers area, so you probably had no chance to really have a thought in the photo, but you would have seen the finish on the big screen. Did you think you'd lasted?
No, I thought the outside horse had just got there. I don't like the shots from up there because I thought I won the Grand National and got beaten, so I'm glad we turned the tables this time.
Well done.
Thank you, Peter.
Dean Lawson, the winning trainer, with Command Post taking out the money for Darren Beedman in the Totally Wild Stakes as they return to scale now. 4 and 8 filling the placings. Accused for Darren Gauci and Metal Trader for Glenn Boss. And the time for the journey, 1:23.2. Let's take a break from fabulous Flemington on the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival for 1997. At the scales, I think one of these riders might be requesting to have a look at the video here. That's Glenn Boss, the rider of Metal Trader, number 8. And I think he may have requested that he takes a look at the steward's video, which is something that they can do now before deciding whether they're going to lodge an objection. I think that's pretty sensible, Jennifer.
Oh, definitely, Peter. It helps because, well, a lot of things can happen in horse racing when you're a jockey, and sometimes things happen so quickly that it is a good idea, if you're not sure, to have a look at the video, and if you need to put in a complaint, you can.
Righto, there's a bit of a delay in correct weight then while Glenn Boss does have a look at the video, and he can have a look from every available angle they've got, and the stewards will have probably around 10 cameras that they can possibly have a look at from various angles all the way around the track. So we'll bring that to you as soon as it comes to hand. The numbers there, 2, 4 and 8 past the post on the third, and the time for the journey, 1:23.2, and that means they are 2.6 seconds outside the record. Next event, Jen, is the Troa Arrowfield Matriarch Stakes. It's due at 1:25, and the emergencies are out the bottom 3 here, so a field of 16, and it's a tough race.
It is. It's for the mares over the 2,000 metres here. I've come up with number 7, Bertocci, a lightly raced mare. Only had the 9 starts, but she's just been improving quite nicely and being quite consistent as well. Steps up to the 2,000. I think that'll suit her. For second, I've put in number 14, Decidity. 51 kilos, gets in nicely weighted, and barrier 4, so should get a nice run. And number 6, Admiring Glances, has got the blinkers on for the first time, so there was some chance as well.
Yeah, I like Decidity, Jen. I thought it's been a little unlucky at its last couple, threw its head all over the place at Caulfield in that race behind Chevelle Place, and then didn't have the best of luck at Moonee Valley, and was coming again on the line after looking as though it was going to drop out on the home turn. So Decidity is the one for me. Well, there's Darren Beedman with the winner of the Totally Wild Stakes Command Post. We're still waiting for the presentation, but we might be able to have a look at the part of the race that Glenn Boss is actually having a look at, and it's in the red colours. So you can see there's not a lot of room to get through the horses in front of it. You can see Command Post well clear at this stage. We've got Desert Light on the inside of it, and Accuse is on the outside of it. Now, you can see there quite clearly that there was contact and there was definitely some interference, so it's going to be third against second here. The warning siren has sounded. Glenn Boss has taken a look at that. Don't know whether he had that angle available to him, but if he did, Jen, I don't think he would have had too much doubt about throwing in a protest.
Yes, well, there's a lot of money involved, Peter, and if Glenn's seen that and he thinks it warrants a protest, there's no reason why he shouldn't go for it.
So third against second, alleging interference near the 200-metre mark. So third against second, and the margin between them was a length at the end. So it's a nose by a length. Here's the other view of it. Now you can see there in the yellow cap that this horse has really been squeezed out Metal Trader as Command Post goes to the front. Now that's Accuse on the outside of it in the pink colours, and Desert Light is over on the inside of Metal Trader in the blue colours. You can see that they're getting quite tight here. Command Post at this stage has got a pretty handy break and is a couple of lengths clear, but you can see the gap, which was one horse, is now closing to, well, less than half a horse there, and Glenn Boss certainly was inconvenienced. Desert Light shifting out and Accused shifting in, so Damien Oliver, who's been in his fair share of trouble throughout the carnival, is yet again involved in some interference in race 3. At this stage he'll be able to take a year off and travel the world. Let's go to the presentation. Here's Rob Gaylard.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's presentation time for the Totally Wild Stakes. Mr. J.A. Finning representing the VRC. But to begin our presentations, Mr. Robert Osmotherley, General Manager of Network 10.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today representing Network 10 in our